Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm looking at a pen from Tactile Turn. This is the first time this brand has been featured here on my channel. I've wanted to look at one of the bolt action pens for a while. They used to have a fountain pen, but they decided not to continue with that for a while, and I really hope that we see the rebirth of that beautiful fountain pen again soon. But Tactile Turn is particularly well known for bolt action pens and sort of ballpoint rollerball kind of things, and that's what we're looking at today. Now, I have watched with envy over the years as people show those beautiful seasonal editions of the Tactile Turn bolt action pens and the cyclic and all that kind of stuff. I just think they're amazing. But when I saw this one, which is the Slate from the Tonal range, I knew I had to feature this on my channel. So I reached out to Tactile Turn, and they were very, very kind in supporting my channel by providing this pen for me to review. So big thank you to them. Here is the pen. Now, I am obsessed with this color. So basically, my color range in my life is grays, navies, forest greens, and like terracotta browns. And what did these guys do? They released a slate colored, so like a gray blue colored, and a terracotta bolt action pen in their tonal range as the first ones. And so it was a really hard choice, but the slate won out in the end simply because of the fact that I could match more inks kind of with it, or ink colors. So it uses the Pilot, or comes with the Pilot G2 0.7 black refill, which is a water-based gel ink. I know I use fountain pens for a lot of things, but I also use a lot of gels roller ballpoint pens for different things as well. I prefer to carry a couple of these with me at most points, just simply because they are convenient and they are easy. So Fisher Space, the Twist from Gravitas, which is a great pen, which I've actually put a Fisher Space refill in, the Caran-d'Ache 849, the Muji gel pen in that awesome simple aluminium body, the Lamy logo, and then like a Pentel Energel. This is just the stationary shop version, and I've actually mostly been using a Pentel Energel refill in this pen. So this is the one I've had in it. I've got the Pilot in there at the moment, but we'll do a writing sample with both and I'll show you how I change it out. But I wanted to show it how it came. So it's a really cool pen. We're going to talk about the parts and features, and then I'll do a writing sample and we'll talk about some pros and cons. So it is an all-metal constructed pen with the base metal being titanium. The majority of this pen is a titanium body. It's all beautifully machined, as the box says here. It is proudly designed, machined, and assembled in Texas. And as the sticker that came with it says, made in Texas, quality you can feel. This particular model is the standard size. They also have a short and a mini version. Now, if you're not familiar with what a bolt action pen is, you've got this little bolt on the side, and as you click that down and lock that into place, the tip or the nib of the refill is brought out the front, so you can write with it. It's, instead of having like a knock on the back, the bolt there is just a really simple, elegant way of doing it. It means that the internals of the pen are kept pretty simple as well. This beautiful finish on the Tactile Turn bolt action pen is a Cerakote coating, which is a really lovely thin ceramic coating, which is like scratch, temperature, and chemical sort of like resistant. They say it's not proof, it's resistant. It will show its age and its use, like it can chip, it can damage, all that kind of stuff, but it's a pretty resilient coating, and one that a lot of brands use, and one that I think, particularly on this pen, looks fantastic. So top of the pen is a relatively smooth and little sort of like rounded step down. We get a little sort of, but that comes off there to allow the clip to go in, and the clip is okay. It's a bit stiff, but it's perfectly sort of usable, particularly over firmer materials. The majority of the pen is this single piece of cylindrically turned metal, and then it's got the bolt action on the side. Now, Tactile do make other pen kinds, but bolt action is one of my favorites. I find this to be a really lovely bolt action. One thing I like is that they've really worked out sort of like the minimum length for the bolt to make it secure but functional, and it's really great. The pen, as I said, continues cylindrically all the way down, and it's covered in these like micro grooves. Now, I'm not sure how the camera sort of will pick these up, but it's grooved all the way down the pen. This adds a nice sort of grip and stability in the hand, and a nice sort of, for me, a nice tactile experience. Then we come to the end of the pen where we have a very slight signaling of the seam there, and that is the nose cone where we change out the refill, and it reveals where the refill goes in. And as I said, this came with a Pilot G2 0.7 refill. Fantastic refill, and also pretty compatible with a number of other brands. I'll go into that in a little bit. And then that just screws back down onto a nice O-ring at the end there, which keeps it really nice and secure. And that's the basics of the pen. Bolt action pens are simple. They should be simple. But what Tactile have done is they have made sure that all the details are beautifully thought out. From the knock to the clip to the way the grooves run down the pen, just amazing. One thing, other little detail I will mention is that under the clip there, not sure how visible that will be, but it says Tactile Turn 2025. A lot of the seasonal editions are labeled underneath the clip there. They don't have a whole lot of branding on the pen. There's nothing else. That's it. But these pens stand up and speak for themselves. Okay, for today's size comparison, I've just got it alongside sort of a few other pens that, you know, might help put it into context for you. The Caran d'Ache 849, which is considerably smaller there than the Tactile Turn. The Pentel Energel in its sort of regular, as I said, regular sort of stationary shop form, which is a little longer. The Lamy Logo, which is shorter there than the Tactile Turn. And then, because I know a lot of you are fountain pen people, the Lamy Safari here, which you can see is about the same length, maybe a millimeter or so shorter, but of course, is a capped pen. So now with all the tips revealed, you can see the Caran d'Ache once again is shorter, and the Pentel and the Tactile Turn are now about the same kind of length. The Lamy is a little shorter. The Lamy Safari, of course, is shorter, but that does post as well, which makes it considerably longer. So what are the specific dimensions of this pen? Well, it's 142 millimeters when the tip is retracted, and it comes out a few millimeters longer, of course, with the tip out. It's 1.1 centimeters or 11 millimeters around the pen. So it's got a nice size. And as I said, that's a nice length. But what's really nice in the hand is the weight. It weighs 37 grams. It doesn't feel flimsy. It doesn't feel light. It's secure. You know you're writing with it. It feels like quality. Okay, so let's do a writing sample. I'm going to write with both the Pilot G2 refill and also the Pentel Energel refill I've had in here. The paper today, this is Notemaker paper, which is an 80 GSM Taiwanese milled paper that is made for Studio Milligram and also Any Day Now notebooks, which are available through Milligram and a range of other retailers. Great Australian brands of notebook and use fantastic paper that's fountain pen friendly, but also great for rollerballs and things like that. So, today we have the Tactile Turn. Tonal bolt action pen, and as I said, this is the slate finish. What I'm writing with here is the Pilot G2 0.7 black refill that came with the pen. Pilot G2 refills and the pens are some of the most highly sold refills and pens on the planet. Major American retailers say that this is probably one of their highest sellers, and it's the same out here in Australia. They're well renowned for being reliable and consistent and just generally really great writers. A lot of people who want to have the feeling of writing with a really nice pen but don't want the price tag will often get something like a Pilot G2 simply because it lays down particularly the black here, lays down a beautiful rich black line. It's consistent, the flow is good, it behaves well, and it's got a really lovely feel. But one of the nice things about this beautiful refill is the fact that there are so many other pen brands that are compatible to it. So as I said, I've been using a Pentel Energel refill in this pen. And so I'm going to pop that one in here now. All I had to do was chop off about 1 millimeter of the refill, the plastic off the end to make it compatible. And it's worked out really, really well. So just screw that nose cone back down on there, engage that. And then you can see here, we have the Pentel Energel. This is, once again, at 0.7. I think they call this one the navy. I tend to call it the blue-black, but I think they call it navy. So the Pilot G2 ink, if you will, is a water-based gel ink. And Pentel referred to theirs as like a hybrid gel ink. They're kind of similar, but for me, the Pentel feels just a little bit smoother. Also, they're both 0.7s, but I tell you what, the Pentel lays down a much, much thicker line. I also love this navy blue color. I know that Pilot used to make, or I don't know if they still do, make a dark blue, blue-black color for their Pilot G2 refill. They also made that beautiful hunter green. And if anyone knows where I can get my hands on those, I'd love to hear from you because they're one of my absolute favorite. I use those in things like my still form gel pen. But yes, so the Pentel Energel refill here works beautifully. There are a range of refills that are compatible with this pen. So yes, this is the Pilot G2 refill, but other brands that you can use without any modification include brands like there are refills from Caran d'Ache, from Cross, from Faber-Castell, from Otto, as well as a range of other Pilot ones such as the G2 Pro, the G6, the G-Nock, the Hi-Tech C, and a bunch more. And then things like the Pentel Energel refill here, or even the Uniball Jetstream, or one of the Uniball Jetstream refills, can be used with some modification, you know, cutting 1 or 2 millimeters of plastic off the end. And the Tactile Turn website has a great list of the refills that are able to be used in the Tactile Turn bolt action pens. So I'll link to their website down below. You can go over there, check it out, and buy a pen. And tell them I sent you, because it's always nice to know that these videos help people find their way to great products, and this is a great product. So yes, 2 refills here, all right beautifully. The world is your oyster. So let's talk about the price now of the Tactile Turn Tonal Bolt Action Pen. This one, the Slate from the Tonal range, retails for $129 US. It does cost more than the standard Tactile Turn Bolt Action pens, just a small amount more. But it is sort of, once again, this coated material, and it's a well-made pen. It's a pen you're going to use and refill for years and years and years. So I think the investment is pretty good. I think it is on the higher end of price points for, you know, like a bolt action pen. But there are very few brands who build things at this quality, that last like this, that have multiple, you know, refills compatible. So you're getting a pen here that is, I think, worth every cent. So let's talk about the pros and cons. I only really have one con, and then something that I'm scared about personally. The only con I have, and this is not for me, this is for, you know, this will just be a con for some people, are those grooves on the pen body. I'm not sure how well the camera is going to pick those up, but it is like there are grooves all the way down the pen body, from top to bottom. So if you don't like the tactile experience, then you're not going to like Tactile Turn. It's something that they're known for, and they do very, very well. The only issue I have personally is that I don't want to damage the finish on this pen. I'm scared to. I love the finish on this pen. I think it looks absolutely incredible. And while I know that Cerakote is a fairly resistant finish, I'm still kind of hesitant to treat it too roughly, and maybe I will more over time. Like I have brass pens and anodized aluminium pens and titanium pens and things like that in my collection that I carry around without a care in the world. And if they get little scratches and things like that, I kind of like that. But I think this finish is so beautiful and it's so uniform and complete that I don't want to damage it. So that's just my own little bugbear with this pen. But there are so many pros. Firstly, It's got a great bolt action. It's smooth. They've really engineered that correctly. So there's no issue whatsoever. I love the action of it. I love bolt action to start with. This is a great one. I love the fact that it uses a Pilot G2 refill. So these are really readily available everywhere, from, you know, sort of like your office supply store to some of your big multi-billion-dollar global retail websites, all those kinds of things, and everything in between. So you can find those refills everywhere, but as I said, there are a bunch of refills this pen will take. Head over to the Tactile Turn website to see what your pen can actually take. I really like the grip that these grooves allow. It always feels like the pen is secure and comfortable in my hand. I don't feel it slippery. I don't feel it sort of becoming uncomfortable. It's just really nice. It feels good in the hand. Another thing that adds to that is the size and weight. Like, it's a slightly longer pen than some other bolt action pens, which I really don't mind. And so it always feels like substantial in the hand, and that 37 grams does add to that. As so you also feel it in your pocket. You always kind of know where the pen is. That little bit of weight and robustness definitely lends itself to a more secure feeling with this pen. I think the build quality is incredible. Like, yes, it is sort of primarily one good solid piece of metal, but it's well done. It's well clipped in. The seams are fantastic. The tolerances are great. They take great care in manufacturing these pens, and that is reflected a little bit in the price point, but also in their pride of their work. They should be proud of their work here. It's fantastic. And then, of course, lastly, I love this finish. I love the coating. When they came out with the terracotta version and this, it was such a hard choice. So now I'm really interested to try a few other pens from Tactile Turn, maybe some of their seasonal offerings in other sizes and things like that. And hopefully I'll be able to show some more of those here on my channel, as they sort of come about, and as and even maybe the other mechanisms and things they use as well. The quality of this is very reassuring. I think it's an amazing pen body for a range of great refills, which is just as important, because you're not just using it for the refill that comes in it, you're using it for the refills you can use for life. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you'd like to support the channel, I would love to hear from you. A big thank you once again to Tactile Turn for sending out the Tactile Turn Tonal Bolt Action Pen in slate, in the standard size, for me to review and show you today. So yes, head over to their website, which is linked down below. Grab one for yourself or any of their pens. They're worth every cent. So enjoy your pens, whether they're fountain pens, ballpoint, rollerball, gel pen, or some kind of hybrid, bolt action, whatever they may be. And I'll talk to you soon.